I have the pleasure and the honor of introducing the Reverend John McCullough to you. You've heard him read scripture earlier in our service. He's a longtime friend and former colleague. I had the honor and the pleasure of serving on the board of Church World Service for 5 or 6 years, some years ago. I said a little bit about Church World Service, and I know he'll tell you more about it when he offers our invitation to give and serve. But John is the president and the CEO of this global humanitarian agency, Church World Service. We're actually a part of Church World Service as a member of both the United Church of Christ and the American Baptist churches. John has been a leader in advocacy at urging the United States government in all kinds of areas of life that I know you, like me, believe are important. He was an important voice in the effort to urge our U.S. government to lift the embargo, the decades-old embargo on Cuba. He led a delegation of faith-based advocates to Cuba, trying to pursue the release of Alan Gross, detained in Cuba for 5 years, and for the release of the Cuban Five, finally released in December 2015. He is one of those who has called, as a leader in the ecumenical movement, for comprehensive immigration reform, something we still today do not have and are no closer to than any point in our history. John began his ministry serving congregations both in the United States and in Kenya. And he's a distinguished alum graduate of the Boston University School of Theology. John, come, let us hear from you.
Hey, brother. Get out of here.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Livingston, for that wonderful introduction and for that very profound message on this day. It's always good when one goes to church and hears something that stirs one's soul. I, for one, will certainly carry this message with me throughout the course of this week and beyond. Good morning, Riverside. It's so good to be with you. Dorian made landfall in the Bahamas, and after approximately 68 hours of wind of up to 220 miles per hour, 12 to 15 inches of rainfall, and a storm surge 18 to 23 feet above sea level, it was recorded as the second strongest hurricane in the Atlantic on record, and the strongest to ever hit the Bahamas. Dorian devastated countless families and caused widespread destruction of property. Officially, 53 people died, but 1,300 people are still missing. 83% of the homes have been destroyed, and over 6,800 people have been evacuated. There is urgent need for safe and clean water and the restoration of sanitation facilities. And only about 30% of the children will be able to resume school between now and December. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. These are the words of the psalmist. No doubt, there are people worshiping here in these pews who intimately know these circumstances. The Riverside Church is part of a network of denominations and congregations known as Church World Service, or CWS. Through our giving, we inspire hope. by providing school kits for 5,000 children as they resume school, by helping local Bahamian congregations provide shelter, serve hot meals, and distribute clean water for families beginning the long journey of rebuilding their lives, and by advocating for those who have been turned away from our shores to help them to finally find a place to call home. 50 years ago this week in York, Pennsylvania, working together as Church World Service, we invented the first community fundraising event in the United States, known as the Crop Hunger Walk. It was a local youth leader named Margaret Horn who decided that one of the most powerful ways for her to serve was to walk to raise money to help people overcome hunger, disaster, and poverty. She reached out to the youth of her church and others in her community and simply asked, "I will walk. Will you walk with me?" Well, over the years, millions of people around this nation have found this to be a profound way to serve. And so we celebrate this 50-year legacy and challenge ourselves to keep serving until truly there is enough for all. Early this morning, our colleague Maurice Bloom from Church World Service started walking from the Brooklyn Bridge here to the Riverside Church. And following our worship, he will continue what is a 150-mile walk to York, Pennsylvania, to demonstrate that God's love extends to all people. People are looking for inspiration. When they hunger for food or justice, they are looking for the inspiration that will feed them. When they feel their lives in danger of chaos or demise, they are looking for the inspiration that will take them out of harm's way. When their homes are shaken to the foundation or feel threatened by the storms of life, they are looking for the inspiration that gives them hope. This includes not only the poor, but also the rich, not only the powerless, but also the powerful. I will walk part of the way with Maurice to inspire hope. In fact, I will try to overcome one of my greatest fears, which is the fear of height. When I walk with him from this place and walk across the George Washington Bridge. Confessionally, I did not sleep very much last night. But in suffering for the gospel, not according to our works, but according to God's own purpose and grace, we simply ask of each other, will you also walk with Christ? Will you also walk with Christ? I will walk. Will you also walk with him?